Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel, Shri Kheteshwar English Academy. In our previous session, we have studied the chapter related to class 10 on violence. We have discussed a lot of points related to violence, how the violence is dangerous for society, how it can be cured, and all the things about it. Like we have read that there are two types of violence. One is physical violence, other is inward violence. Both the violences we have described you, and now we are going to study further. But before that, we are going to just revise what we have read in our last or previous session. Just have a look in it. The very first is violence is inborn. Yes, we have discussed in our previous class that violence is inborn. It is natural. It is natural in a human being. Like a human being is born with a different type of feelings like joy, happiness, love, affection. Along with that, he also have been born with the feeling of hatred, ugliness, and what we call violence, etc. All these are inborn qualities or feelings which comes out at a particular time period in our life, which could be very dangerous. This thing is also in you, the young new generation of India or the world. You are also having this particular thing in you. You are also inborn with the violence, but it is on you that how you use that violence in a positive manner, in a positive way, to get or achieve new things and make this beautiful world. Another one is education is helpful. Yes, education is really very helpful in carving out this violence. How it is helpful? Let's see. Through education, through knowledge, through wisdom, what you do, the person should become a rational, healthy, intelligent man who is sane, who thinks properly. This is the way he uses education. If a person who is well educated and he is brutal in nature and he is using that education, he is using his education for defending his brutality by aggressive arguments or arguments, then that education is not helpful, that education is not worth of anything. So education is to make a person rational, sane, healthy, and the person who can understand what is wrong and what is right. Further, we more discuss about it. Education is not only to get and acquire a job. Education is not only that you just get good marks, you pass with good marks in a school, in colleges, and then you get a good job. This is not only education. That is a formal way. But education totally makes you a human being, a person with sane and rational thinking. एजुकेशन मेक्स मैन सेम रेशनल, that we have already discussed कि एजुकेशन जो है वो एक व्यक्ति को बहुत ही रेशनल और सेन बनाता है, हेल्दी बनाता है, इंटेलिजेंट बनाता है, जो दूसरों को और अपने बीच में हर एक चीज़ों को सही तरीके से देखता है। वो जानता है कि क्या गलत है, क्या सही है, और उन चीज़ों के ऊपर काम करता है। चलिए, नीड ऑफ न्यू वर्ड विद न्यू कल्चर. यस, अनदर थिंग, there is a need of new world. There is a need of development of new world with a new culture. How it would be developed? You, the coming generation of India or the world, going to make a new culture, a new world. The older generation have made this world on the basis of aggressiveness, violence, everything. There is a lot of violence at every stage of life. As you grow, जैसे जैसे आप बड़े होते जाएंगे, वैसे वैसे आप लोगों को ये violence दिखना स्टार्ट होगा. स्टार्टिंग में आपको ये फिजिकल वायलेंस नजर आएगा, फिजिकल वायलेंस को आप फील कर पाएंगे. But in the course of time, when you grow up, definitely you are going to face inner world violence, and that will be more dangerous than The violence which is inward a person, that is the most dangerous violence, which never keeps you happy, which never keeps you satisfied. New generation is the one who can develop new culture. Yes, the new generation which is going to be India's new generation. You are the people who can step forward, who can come forward and make a new culture, a new world, a world based on love, affection, pity, sympathy, generosity, harmony, all these type of things. If you are having a sympathy towards your fellow beings, if you are having love, affection toward your fellow beings, you won't be facing violence. There will be a stoppage of violence. There will be a love and a lovable society where you can. And if you follow the path that your ancestors, your older people have set and make the world basis on the violence, you get a good life for a few years, but your children going to suffer for that. Your people going to suffer for that. That they won't be happy if we keep on this moving culture of violence. So I hope you have understood all the things related to our previous session, and now just have a look on the glossary and just let's move on towards our further reading and explanation. Have a look on glossary. Inherent, inborn, natural, we have discussed this yesterday. Rational, wise, brutal, violent and cruel. Vaporize, disappear like vapor. Vapor की तरह गायब हो जाना. Generosity, kindness, carve out, develop or make. Bliss, supreme joy. चलिए आगे की आज रीडिंग सेशन स्टार्ट करते हैं और देखते हैं कि आज हमारे पास क्या है पढ़ने को. आज हमें ऑथर क्या बताने वाला है. What is going to tell us today in our this chapter on violence. Let's start with our reading session and continue. Page number 22. Yes, let's start. Carefully just keep your fingers on the words which I am using. Okay? You are still young, but as you grow older, you will realize how inwardly man goes through hell. Yes. अभी तो आप young हैं. Right now you are a young person, so you eventually don't care for things. But as you grow up, जैसे जैसे तुम grow up होते जाओगे, बड़े होते जाओगे, you are going to realize this thing. You are going to face this thing. That how a man goes through a hell inwardly. अंदर ही अंदर व्यक्ति जो है, एक इंसान जो है, वो किस तरीके से hell से भी ज़्यादा बदतर स्थिति से गुजरता है, कुछ परेशानियों के साथ. Goes through great misery because he is in a constant battle with himself, with his wife, with his children, with his neighbors, with his gods. Let's talk about it first. As you know, when you will grow up, you will going to have a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders. When a person is having a lot of responsibilities on his or her shoulders, then he or she have to work for that. In every case, to make the people associated with them happy and give them a prosperous life. So, when a person is growing up, he started facing a different type of violence, that is inward violence. Inward violence. He faces an inward violence. When a person is facing an inward violence, it is very difficult for him to think rationally, because at that particular time he is covered or he is affected through this inward violence, and because of this affection, he is not able to think rationally, and when he is not able to think rationally, it means he is going to make some mistakes which will be a terrible mistakes for his life. As you grow up, when you grow up, you get married, you have a family, and there is a constant battle, there is a constant inner battle in yourself with your wife, your neighbor, your friends, God's family, everything. There is a constant battle, and which this battle is very dangerous. This battle is totally dangerous because it never makes you satisfaction, never gives you satisfaction of your life, what you want to achieve and what you want to do. He is in sorrow and confusion, and there is no love, no kindliness, no generosity, and no charity. And a person may have a PhD after his name, or he may become a businessman with houses and cars. But if he has no love, no affection, no kindliness, no consideration, he is really worse than an animal, because he contributes to a world that is destructive. What author wants to say to us, what the author is giving a message, like suppose you are a person and you have studied very big, you have studied lots of things and you have become a big businessman, a great businessman. You have achieved a lot of things in your life, like you have achieved a beautiful bungalow, houses, cars, everything that you have, which is you need for your enjoyment, your safety. But if you do not have love, if you do not have a kindness, a friendly kindliness, if you do not have affection, if you do not have sympathy for others, then there is nothing that you have achieved. You may get a name, you may get a PhD degree, but if you do not have anything like consideration, if people do not consider you for your ways, if people do not love you, if people do not feel any kindness for you, then all these things, whether it is business or a big PhD degree or anything else in the world, is worthless. You won't have anything in your life then. Along with that, you are that person who is going to contribute in such a society which is very destructive. You are going to contribute in a society which is destructive in nature. Because so as you are going to feel, you will give that same to others. So it is very important for a person to have all those people along with him who stands with him at the time when there is a need. They are helpful, kindness, love, affection, generosity, humbleness, all these harmony, these feelings should be developed, these feelings should be along with you when you need to do something in your life. Just achieving a big businessman, becoming a tycoon of business, achieving a great degree like PhD or something related to as becoming something more entrepreneur or something like that, doesn't give you satisfaction. These all things never give you satisfaction, because a person is satisfied when he has those people around him who loves him, who cares for him. Okay, so this is very much important for a particular person. I hope you are getting my points, what I am trying to explain to you. And along with that, let's move on further and just decide and see what other things that we are going to see in our next portion. Okay. So while you are young, you have to know all these things. क्योंकि अभी आप लोग young हैं, it is very important for you people to understand now what all these things have the importance in your life in further life. You have to be shown all these things. ये सारी चीजें आप लोगों को दिखाई जा रही हैं. We are telling you all these things. We are explaining you all these things. You have to be exposed to all these things so that your mind begins Otherwise, you will become like the rest of the world. And without love, without affection, without charity and generosity, life becomes a terrible business. Yes. If somebody asks you, when does life become a terrible business? Then it is very simple for you to answer. Without love, without affection, without kindness, without charity, without generosity, life becomes a terrible business. Yes, life becomes a terrible business. Like, think. You are new to the world, you are young now, and your mind is fresh. If we people are expressing you all these things, we are telling you about all these things, and we are letting you know that how things are difficult in life, and what are the things that you are going to consider in your further, and what people actually need. They think that they need a big bungalow. They think that they need a big car. They think that they need houses, cars, business, lot of money. But all these things are worthless unless you have true love, family, people who kindly consider to you, people who thinks about you, people who cares for you. If there is nothing, then all these things are worthless in your life. They are worthless, completely worthless. Now, because you are young, you are growing towards it, you are going to achieve all these things in your life. So, along with that, you need to develop yourself with love, affection, care, and to the people around you with sympathy, generosity, and harmony, and develop these all things with you, in you. Do not develop jealousy, ugliness, aggressiveness. All these things create violence, and you do not want to create such violence. Now you are young, you are going to be achieving all these things in your life. So along with that, things that you are going to achieve for you in your life, like a big business, like a good job, a profession, all these things. With that, develop all these good qualities, and you will be inwardly satisfied in your life with the good job. And if you are having only a good job and you are not having those people who love you, who cares for you, then it won't be possible for you to survive in that particular job for a long time of duration. And you will be facing an inward violence in yourself, and it will be difficult for you to live with them. That is why one has to look into all these problems of violence. यही रीजन है कि व्यक्ति को इन छोटे छोटे प्रॉब्लम्स के है, इन प्रॉब्लम्स को देखना, इनको समझना, इनके अंदर से रहना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. Not to understand violence, to be really ignorant. अगर आप violence को नहीं समझते हैं, अगर आप violence को पहचान नहीं पाते हैं कि violence किस तरीके से होता है, if you are not able to understand violence, you are not able to understand violence, if you are not able to understand violence, then you are ignorant about it. You are ignorant about it. Is to be without intelligence and without culture. It means you are without intelligence and without culture. You are not an intelligent person. If you do not understand this thing, then you are not an without intelligent person, as well as you are cultureless. You do not have a culture in you. If you are not understanding violence, then you are ignorant and all these things. Life is something enormous. Life is very big. It is enormous. Enormous यानी बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी होगी. Enormous. Life is enormous. You have an enormous life in yourself. You have the biggest life in yourself, and merely to carve out a little more for oneself and remain in that little hole. Fighting of everybody is not to live. It is up to you. From now on, you have to know about all these things. You have to choose deliberately to go the way of violence or to stand up against the society. Yes. What the author is trying to make you understand. Listen carefully. What is author telling you is this: कि life is a big hole. You know, life is enormous. Enormous यानी life जो है बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ी है. जिंदगी बहुत बड़ी है. Enormous है. From that, if you are choosing a little hole for yourself, this is your life, and if you are choosing this little hole for yourself, then it is nothing that you are getting. Okay. And with this hole, you are just developing in yourself all those things like cruelty, ugliness, aggressiveness, violence, and all these things will be developed. Now it is up to you. Now it is up to you. You have to decide that where you are going to go, which is your way towards it. Okay. How you are going to perform in your life now onwards, so that you achieve the best you need. Like, if you live your life with whole thing, living a life like this in a whole, without people, without love, without affection, there is no need of living such a life. And if you are living a whole life with love, affection, sympathy, pity, all these things, then it will be more grateful. It will be more beautiful way of living life. It is on you that you have to decide at this point of time that where you have to go, where you wanted to go. Do you wanted to go through the same way of society, that is living with a violence, or you want to stand against this violent society and try to take a step towards the new culture, towards a new generation, towards a new world. It's up to you. You have to do what you want to do. It's your choice. Whatever you will make yourself, that is now. This is the time that you will decide what you have to become. Do you want to contribute in such a society which is full of violence, or do you want to stand against it and make a new world, a new culture? It's up to you only. Be free, live happily, joyously, without any antagonism, without hate. Then life becomes something quite different. अगर आप बिल्कुल फ्री हैं, एकदम आज़ाद पंछी की तरह, अगर आप बहुत खुश रहते हैं, you live joyously and freely, अगर आपके विदाउट एंटागोनिज्म, एंटागोनिज्म का मतलब होता है एग्रेसिव ऑपोजिशन, किसी का भी एग्रेसिवली ऑपोजिशन नहीं करना, अपोज नहीं करना किसी को, ठीक है, एंड विदाउट एनी हेट, और नफरत नहीं है आपके अंदर, सिर्फ प्यार भरा हुआ है, तो आप एक ऐसी जिंदगी को जी रहे हैं which is totally a different life, totally a different way of living life. Then life has a meaning, और उसके बाद जिंदगी का एक अर्थ, एक मतलब, एक मीनिंग निकलता है. Is full of joy and clarity. Is full of joy and clarity. Then life becomes full of joy and clarity. Joy. When you are happy, you will be able to make people around you happy. Understood? If you are having a clear vision, what you have to achieve in your life, if you have a clarity of mind, if you have a clarity of thoughts, then it would be helpful for you to grow, to develop, and to become what you want to in your life. With all these good things, the way you are living life, it makes you think how better you can do in your life. When you woke up this morning, did you look out the window? Did you look out the window? क्या जब आप सुबह आप उठे तो क्या आपने अपने घर खिड़की के बाहर कुछ देखा? You would have seen those hills become saffron as the sun rose against that lovely blue sky. आपने नज़ारा देखा होगा जिसके अंदर जो blue, जो green, बहुत सारे जो hills हैं, पहाड़ियाँ जो है, उन पहाड़ियाँ जो है saffron color. ठीक है? As the sun rose against the lovely sky, जैसे कि सन जो है उस lovely sky की तरफ रोज करता है, दौड़ता है, उड़ता है. जिस प्रकार सूरज जो है वो उदय हो रहा है, तो उसकी जो कलर है, जो लालिमा है, वो जब फैलती है तो सामने वाली चीजों को क्या कलर दिखता है? एक सैफरन कलर दिखता है. And as the birds began to sing and the early morning cuckoo, और जैसे birds सुबह सुबह को चिड़ियाघर लग जाती है, स्टार्ट कर देती है अपना म्यूजिकल ची 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 करना, sound that gives you immense pleasure when you hear such a soothing sound taking life with the wind blowing properly. There was a deep silence all around. There was a deep silence all around. A sense of great beauty and loneliness. And if one is not aware of all that, one might just as well. What writer is going to tell to you is this: if a person is not aware of all these things, like if as a person, you are not aware, or you haven't seen or haven't feel the beauty of nature, then you are not alive. You are not alive. You are just like a dead piece, like a bench, like a thing. If you cannot admire the beauty of nature, if you cannot feel the beauty of nature, then you are just like a dead, nothing more than dead. You are just like a furniture, that nothing more than that. But only a very few people are aware. बहुत ही कम लोग होते हैं जो इस चीज़ों के बारे में अवेयर होते हैं, जानते हैं. You can be aware of it only when your mind and heart are open. आप कब अवेयर हो सकते हैं इन चीज़ों से रिलेटेड? इन चीज़ों से आप तभी अवेयर हो सकते हैं when your mind and heart is open for everyone. You have a great deep love for everyone. You do not feel wrong about anyone. You do not feel jealousy about for anyone. Then you are the one who can do it, who can feel all these things. When you are not frightened, जब आप घबराए हुए नहीं, frightened, when you are not frightened, जब आप frightened नहीं हैं, when you are no longer violent, आप बिल्कुल violent नहीं हैं, then there is joy, there is extraordinary bliss. तब एक joy होता है, आपको एक extraordinary bliss, supreme joy जिसे हम लोग कह रहे हैं, of which a very few people know. बहुत ही कम लोग हैं जो इस चीज़ को जानते हैं. And it is the part of education to bring about the state in development. Or this is the part of education. It is a part of education which makes you a human mind, which develops a human mind in such state where you are not frightened of anything. You do not have any afraid. You do not have any frightenedness in you. And you are the one who is thinking about all these things. You are open to everyone, you love everyone, you have a self-respect for yourself and for others. And all these things gives you a supreme joy, a bliss. And if you can admire the beauty of nature, then you are the one who is standing against it. You are not violent anymore. And all these came to you through your education. Through the education that you are achieving or receiving right now, the education which is giving you at this age will going to provide you all these things, and you have to be very careful and calm for your success. I hope you got my point. Violence is one thing that you do not have to take away with you. Violence is to leave behind. Love, affection, sympathy is the things that you need in your life the most in today's time. For this, you have to study well, understand, love yourself as well as the people around you. If you start feeling sympathy for others, you will become a true human. Then you won't be an animal. So it is very, very useful for you to get through it. I hope you understand this chapter. You got my points, and now you have to do question and answers related to this chapter. Physical violence kills people incidentally, unwillingly, done or willingly. Take the correct activity 1. Choose alternatives. से पहला है आपका B. Answer is B. Willingly. The first answer is B. Willingly. First का B. Next is violence in individual comes by birth, after birth, through education, none. By birth, obviously by birth. A. It is inborn. You people have it inborn. अंदर ही तो है हमारे. ये सारी चीजें, भावनाएं, feelings, ये सारी हमारे अंदर ही होती है. But at a particular time of age, it comes out. While showing violence to others, man is very thoughtful about his own safety, not very much cruel, conscious about his family, even ready to be killed. Very thoughtful about his own safety. Yes, very thoughtful about his own safety. A. Next, a person without the sense of love is worse than animals. Obviously, is worse than animals. The state of bliss in human mind may be generated by education. See, education. And rest of the question and answers you have to try yourself and finish it, complete it. Let us know through the PDF. Okay? And I hope you are getting all these points and you will be able to learn about it. So it would be very good for you to understand, work out, and have a good day. We'll meet you in the next class. Until unless, good day, and stay home and stay safe.